There are now 25.4 million Aussies, but there's only one Jane Average. She's around 35 years old, living with her bae and kids in a capital city. She's probably got a mortgage and her household's raking in more than $3,000 a week. Make it rain, Jane.
That is our average Australian.
And for the first time, she was more likely than not a first or second generation migrant. 51.5% of the population now falling into that camp.
We've seen the largest increase in country of birth outside Australia being India, with 220,000 additional people counted.
Like 43.9% of the population, Jane identifies as Christian, but the heathens are closing in. No religion is our second most popular religion, and it's on track to overtake Christianity. And there's been a disturbance in the force, Aussie Jedi more or less vanishing since the 2016 census.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
In terms of demographic dominance, millennials have zoomed past Gen X.
Did you see what I did there?
To draw level with their baby boomer elders at 21.5% of the total population.
The baby boomers and millennials each have over 5.4 million people. However, the number of millennials is increasing through migration, while the number of baby boomers is beginning to decrease.
Other tasty morsels? For the first time, the census actually took an interest in our health. Turns out we're carrying a concerning quantity of chronic conditions like asthma, arthritis and mental illness.
I was rather surprised to find that a third of people in Australia said that they have a long-term health condition.
We're also moving up and out. On census night, 500,000 of us were in high-rise apartments with nearly 60,000 caravans occupied and 1 million homes unoccupied. So there you go, Australia. Australia, this is you.
Dr. Liz Allen is a demographer with ANU. She joins us now. Dr. Allen, happy Census Day. We've called it the grand final. Is this like Christmas for you? How pumped are you?
Oh, it's beyond exciting. Happy Census Data Release Day to you. It's the greatest days of days. I'm exhausted.
Well, we're just going to get a few more details from you before I promise we are allowed to go for a well-earned rest. But just to remind everyone, this data was all collected last year in August, right? So 2021. But around that time, there was probably, 15 million or so Aussies who were in lockdown. So what effect may that have had on the results?
So by far and large, the majority of Australians were in lockdown in Australia, and that served a good purpose for this census 2021, in that because so many people were at home, the completion rates and participation was quite high. In fact, so much so that because people weren't out at the pub or out at a mate's place, it meant that we had more people at home on census night, which spells good things for the data. Many people have criticised the data, however, for that very fact. We've been affected by COVID, many people were in lockdown. What this census does is allows us to bear witness in real time to the impacts that COVID had across a wide range of things in Australian society. And this is by far and away a global first and something that the world will look to, this data, to examine the impacts of COVID and so on.
Well, Doctor, there were obviously no people at home in the million empty homes. 1 million? Yeah. Wow. What's that?
More than 1 million, more than 1 million. And let me tell you, it's a punch in the face for all those Gen Xers and millennials who have no hope of ever owning their own home and are destined for insecurity in their housing due to our rental situation.
Well, they could always make it up with a caravan.
It's no joke.
They could make it up with a caravan according to the census.
And this is the thing, is that Australians, like we do, we adapt. We look at ways to get around the situation we're in and make good of what we've got. And look, that over 1 million empty homes, that should most definitely be a priority for governments across Australia to consider how we can truly make Australia fairer and redress housing inequality by considering this large chunk of homes that are just waiting for someone to move in and make the place fancy.
Dr. Liz, let's talk religion, because apparently the Jedi are vanishing from Australia. I find the timing of the census very curious. It happens late in 2021. The much hyped Obi-Wan Kenobi comes out in 2022. Knowing this, do these results have any credibility whatsoever?
Look, I hate to say, but look, that data question, it's the only question on the census that is voluntary. I must admit, I was expecting more than 40% of Australians saying that they have no religion. Bit of controversy there. I suspect a lot of Australians are fibbing and just saying what mum and dad baptised them as.
Oh, I got a feeling she completely avoided your Star Wars question.
Absolutely. I think she knows the Sith is on the rise.
Can I just say I've never seen a Star Wars movie?
Okay, let's wrap it up. Wrap it up. Thank you very much, Dr. Liz.
Very, very tired.
Get back to your numbers. Get back to your numbers.
The good thing is, Dr. Liz Allen, I know this is the first drop, so you've got time to brush up on Star Wars before we chat to you again with the next census data drop. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. I think there's time for 8 movies.